So
But
so
that
finally,
yeah, that's not everything.
getting to the tools. Um, so this is most of this was based on the player feedback. First of all, the scalable trench connector, right? So this was a lot of work, but now you can scale your trenches when you place them. So you don't have to build two and then place the trench connectors in between. You can control it. You can rotate the edges, and again, going back to that flexibility, right? So this I think will alleviate a lot of the frustrations around using trench connectors right now, and it will also empower players to be able to build uh, more in a more creative way, right?
Man, this is so cool.
And then, of course, you can always build like the standard size.
Well, the standard size should still be the one that's used across longer distances because it is longer, it's more cost effective, and it supports the bridge modification. So it still should be. I encourage people to still use the standard one, but we didn't. We really didn't want that to be like a limiter, right?
Small thing. Once you play the game for like a day without your backpack on, the old screenshots of the game look like they're just out of date. Like the no backpack guys are friggin' great.
It's like, what's wrong with
Yep.
all these engineers running around? Is sort of the thought I had. So one of the biggest pieces of feedback that I've gotten from players that like to spend all their time making trenches and bunkers is that they don't have the control they need to execute on their vision, right? So um, right now there are some rules in the game to give you some control. Like if you build a bunker of 6 tiles, there's a magical rule that suddenly other players are not able to modify those bunkers. But we wanted to really come back around and give players full control. So we added a bunch of new tools at the bottom of here. So we added the reservation system, which we'll show first. So if you reserve, you can click on that, and like the reserve stockpiles, it reserves this trench for you or bunker for up to 48 hours. You can come back to refresh it if you want, but during those 48 hours, other players are not allowed to modify your trenches. You can remove it at any time, and we think this will really help players in giving full control and being able to execute on their designs. Trench demolishing, another highly requested features. So you can demolish a trench if it's reserved for you, and uh, it can be done. There's certain rules around it, so you can't do it if there's enemies that are nearby, and you can only do it within 3 hours after the trench is created. I'm gonna pause there, and they do work on the husks as well. So we're starting with it just working on the tier 1 trenches, but it's something that, because there's a lot of gameplay implications of it, we're going to iterate on a feature and see if it makes sense to move it to some of the other trench types. But if you didn't reserve a bunker, you can still remove it with the fill-in feature. So you can fill in um, a trench now, and
We need a different animation for the fill-in shoveling.
yeah, there's some visual polish that probably have to work on in the future.
That will come, yeah.
And it's this that works, not the demolish, which I misspoke about. It's actually the fill-in option works on the husks, right? So hopefully, cleaning up the mess of a trench network is we have a path to that now. Got to pause for this one because this is just so cool, right?
Yep.
So this is players been asking this for like 3 years. I remember a Reddit post asking, because players build AI defenses, they're always a little bit uncertain about what it can see and what it can't until update 46, right?
I love how every time you pause, it's like, and now for the real feature of the update.
Yes. So now it renders the field of view, and that's not just the field of view. It shows you where it can't see. So as you'll see in a moment, as the build ghost moves, it shows you its blind spot. So if you're a builder, you have better information on where to build your AI defenses. And this, I'm so excited about this feature just because it's been so long. Players been asking for this one for so long.
It won't be blocked by like a vehicle if it's parked somewhere.
Yes, so you can't use it to cheese.
Yeah.
And it also works on
Yeah.
bunker AI defense.
But Mark, what else could there possibly be? We've got
All
to
right.
be done by now.
This is the last